Welcome to Karpool with Kirsten, brought to you by Fempowerment, the show where extraordinary women share extraordinary stories. Buckle up, babes, because today my passenger has turned her own health crisis into three of the most talked about wellness brands in the region. She's the founder and CEO of the Broth Lab, the Roost Rotisserie, and Catcha Matcha, a woman who describes her signature as Emirati concepts with a Palestinian soul. Please welcome to the Karpool, Hadil Al Khatib. Hadil, welcome to the Karpool.
I can't believe I'm here. This is crazy.
It's such an honor to have you, first of all.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's get into it, right? For anyone that's meeting you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself? Founder, mom, entrepreneur?
I always like to introduce myself as a Palestinian woman. I'm so proud of my heritage, obviously, and where I've come from. But obviously, as a mom yourself, we're always mothers.
Yeah.
Mom entrepreneurs, all the way. But I'm just Hadil, I just look at myself without the responsibilities, without the labels. Nothing, just Hadil, just me.
Well, before we get into obviously all of your achievements, because well done to you for everything that you've managed to create in your lifetime, I want to talk about your childhood. Born and raised Abu Dhabi,
yes.
Palestinian Jordanian family. Tell us about what your childhood was like.
Oh, my childhood was beautiful. Abu Dhabi in the 80s, am I giving away my age? Abu Dhabi in the 80s was incredible. It was family vibes. I had a beautiful childhood where I would take my bike outside in the neighborhood. It was safe, it was quiet. Like I said, it was all about just being part of a family, a bigger family really. The city was quiet. And I had a good childhood generally. And then 15 years ago, I fell in love of someone who was born and raised in Dubai, so also in the UAE, moved to Dubai, and then made Dubai home, but Abu Dhabi has always been home.
And then obviously when you met your husband,
yes,
things kind of changed for you.
Correct.
You had a baby, and then we had a little bit of a health scare.
Correct.
Can you tell us about that?
I mean, as a woman, you just assume that you're going through different transitions, right? You hit puberty as a girl, you go into your fertile years, you get pregnant, postpartum, you have a baby, etc. It just felt natural. This is what every single woman goes through, right? You don't assume there are going to be major hiccups in the way, and even if they are, I mean, every other woman has gone through this.
Yeah.
You kind of brush it away. But sadly, a lot of women through transitional years suffer in silence, because not only is it a taboo, but they just feel like every woman has given birth. Every woman has went through a hard
you're
pregnancy.
not the first
You're
woman.
not the first or the only, suck it up sort of an approach. And this was the hardest part, because you somehow quietly start dismissing yourself. But the worst part is when you go and seek help. The healthcare also dismisses you.
Yeah.
So you go into this vicious cycle that's what's wrong with me postpartum? Why am I having these symptoms? Why am I not, myself anymore? And I need to get it together because I have a baby that's dependent on me and I'm their whole world. So what do I do about it? So there was a lot of dismissal from the healthcare, which made things worse. But those hard years were the best years of my life, because it just showed me skills, strength, resilience that I didn't even know existed. And also once you become a mother, you sort of, oh my God, you get this incredible ability to just want to do whatever it takes for the survival of your family.
But it's like you just have this driving force behind you, like knowing that these little lives are dependent on you. It just gives you the motivation that you need. I think it just gives you a superpower.
Exactly.
Like as a mom, you just feel like you are capable of doing anything, and you will do whatever it takes in order to provide for them.
100%.
But I mean, obviously for you, going through that change, going through all those problems, the gut issues, the fatigue, the brain fog, that was kind of met with like, oh, this is normal. And you were like, no, this is not. They said to you, oh, it's all in your head. And obviously you were like, absolutely not. You then switched from your corporate background into health and wellness.
Correct.
How did you manage to do that with a baby as well? Like, I just really need to know this.
If someone would have given me $1 million and said, you're going to shift careers from everything you knew you were doing, I would say there's no fucking way. Like, even if you would triple that amount, I'm not shifting because I loved what I used to do.
Yeah.
I was leading the human resources in the energy sector of the capital in Abu Dhabi. I had a master's degree in HRM. This is all I knew. I was so passionate about it. I loved my team. We were going through a crazy time in Abu Dhabi where we were seeing the shift in the energy sector. Everything we saw, from solar energy to alternative energy, everything was shifting, and I was part of that change. It was exciting. It was just where I wanted to be forever. But of course, motherhood changes you, but also life happens and shit happens, and life, with all its changes. And my health took a toll for whatever reason. But the truth is, that shift was the aftermath. What happened is that I've noticed there was a huge medical misogyny in the healthcare system. And I love that we're sharing this during the femme empowerment sort of era. Because at the time, I didn't understand that my gender played a role of what doctors were telling me. I didn't understand that. I thought healthcare was for all. Men and women are equal. Their symptoms will be considered the same way. There is a sort of, she's a woman. She's probably, her pain tolerance is lower. She's probably just being dramatic, emotional. It's all in her head. She just can't deal with the struggles of motherhood. But that was never the case. But because of this bubble around, or perception around what women are supposed to feel or say in the healthcare, I was dismissed multiple times just because simply I was in this transitional period. I was postpartum. And I had a TEDx talk recently, and I wanted to share my journey in detail on a mega stage because I didn't feel like any other stage is worthy of this journey, because I wanted to touch point on this particular topic, the medical misogyny, postpartum moms, but also all the mental and health struggles that we go through simply because we're women. Simply. There's no other explanation. And the amount of men after my talk that ran after me.
Really?
The men, they said, thank you for mentioning something like that, because we were the hidden soldier. We were the husband, the father, the uncle, the brother. That our wives or our, that female version in our household was going through, and nobody spoke about it. And that's really beautiful. Beautiful. And it made me think, no, there are so many men that are full of compassion or love that want a solution for it. And it doesn't dictate the women in their lives, because again, they're their partners. Whether it's, a colleague, whether it's an uncle, whether it's whoever the position is.
Allies.
Always. So educating that part as well, because I'm so grateful that I had a husband that believed me, because for so long the doctors are telling him, it's all in her head. Her blood work is perfect. There's nothing wrong with her. She's just being dramatic, emotional. And he would tell her, I don't think you understand who my wife is. She would sleep for 5-6 hours and wake up completely full of life, very much motivated to do what she do. The fact that she can't get out of bed after 10 hours of sleeping, there's something about it. And they would say, she just needs to maybe look after herself mentally. Maybe an antidepressant could help. But nobody was really digging deeper, simply because I'm a woman going through a transitional period.
It's really important also that you have a good support system, because when I was going through postpartum, and my partner obviously dismissed me alongside with the doctors when I was saying,
correct,
I have postpartum depression. I'm not doing well. I'm struggling. I feel constant fatigue. I'm not coping. And it was kind of made with same. She's a woman. She's overreacting. She's being dramatic. And I didn't have a good support system that actually could take my side. So I just dismissed it myself.
That's the most dangerous part. When you dismiss yourself, that's the worst part. Because you're motivated enough to go to the doctor, to seek help, to know there's something wrong. So you're in this space where you want to change. You know that's not right. So far, you're looking after yourself in ways you thought, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. The worst part is that when you don't have a proper support system, when you have the support system assumption that, that's going to come from the healthcare is also dismissing you, then you start doubting your reality. You start saying, oh my God, maybe it is just me.
Yeah.
Maybe it is in my head. Maybe there's nothing wrong with me. Maybe it's my fault. That's the worst part.
No.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's my fault. Maybe I've done that to my, mental well-being. Maybe I'm not looking after myself enough. And all these maybes are the worst part, because when you start dismissing yourself,
It's a catalyst.
oh my
Yeah.
God, you stop trusting your reality. You stop really believing in what truly makes you who you are, your character, your belief system, your personality.
Yeah.
Who can take you out of this hole?
It's only you. And if you're against yourself, then who's for you? At
No
the end of
one.
it? Exactly.
It's you against the world.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's a plus if you have a support system. If you don't, and you seek others and then dismiss you again, then that's the time when you really need to take full control. And sometimes that's the best thing for you. When it's just you, sometimes that's the best thing, because you're going to take double the effort, if not more, to just get yourself out of it.
100%. Yeah. Before we continue, I want to circle back before we forget
Yes.
about the TED Talk.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge accomplishment in on your own. To be on that stage, to be recognized for your achievements and for who you are as a woman, well done.
I'm so grateful.
You should be.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's such a big achievement.
Yes.
But I mean, was it daunting for you to be on that stage? Like, to know all the people that stood there before you, and like to know that you have to leave the same level of of expertise as what they did? Was it daunting at all? Were you anxious, or were you like, I've got this?
I've reached a point in my life where I look at such platforms or mega stages as what value can I add there. Before, in my 20s and in my 30s, you're thinking, oh my God, this is a tick in the box that I've done that. I'm a TED speaker, I'm a Forbes speaker, etc. But then you reach to a position where what value and knowledge do I want to share with an audience that respects that platform, and how can I be someone of impact or continue to be? Because the more you do, the more you raise the standards.
Yeah.
The more you have to go on another stage and share more value and more impact. So throughout the time I was on stage, I was thinking, how could I be of use to women who are hearing me, and other men who have been in the position or through a journey, through their, better halves, similar to my journey. So that was my sort of my obsession. I just wanted to share something that I knew was a big taboo, because obviously postpartum, you're supposed to celebrate. You've had a baby. It's a blessing.
Yeah, it's like a sad.
Yeah,
You
it's
should
a
be
beautiful
happy.
phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, women are paying, millions, if not thousands, through fertility treatments just to have that baby, and you're not being grateful.
And never
And you're
mind
just
what women are
thinking-
actually going through health-wise at that time. Shedding the lining of 9 months, bleeding
Correct.
for 2 months on end. I wore my children's diapers at one stage when I was in
remember.
postpartum.
It was hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Nope.
Your milk flow is still it's balancing out at that time if you're breastfeeding, obviously,
Yes.
because it's not understanding about how much do I need,
No.
how little do I need. So it's just overproducing,
Correct.
underproducing. You engorge, you're in pain, you sleep deprived,
Yes.
you're sensitive everywhere. Well, you're supposed to be so graceful, so happy, so I'm so grateful, peace
Well
and love,
booked.
and it's
Yes.
it's not that way.
No, and even though it's natural, it's not easy. It doesn't make it simpler.
No.
And like you said, the comments, even if they're kind ones, from others saying, just go take a shower, get out of your pajamas, you'll feel better. I get it. They're trying to be kind with their comments. But after all, the last thing you want to do is do anything else.
You just want to
You just
sleep.
want to be.
Yeah.
You just want to be. So I remember 40 days after postpartum, 41st day, I was back in the office.
Really?
Literally, I stopped bleeding the day before, and the next day I was at my corporate job,
Yeah.
smiling, thinking it's going to be absolutely fine,
And it was not.
Back then, that was the maternity leave for a woman. It was 40 days, imagine. And I didn't have any annual leave to take. But also I was eager to go back because I wanted to feel like, oh, I can do it all. So we sometimes put ambition as a priority, which it always should be, but then at the expense of our health
No.
and our family sometimes.
Yeah.
So it made me think, do I still want to do this whole 8 to 5, going back home, feeling I can't disconnect,
Yeah.
where my corporate job is my priority?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I really look after my health and my child and my family and prioritize that for a while?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be forever.
Yeah.
you know? So when I pivot, I needed it for survival. It wasn't a choice.
Mhm.
I needed it because it was either this or I'm going to be collapsed and someone else,
Yeah.
the ugliest version of myself for forever.
And that's when you went into nutrition and you studied.
So every single doctor, even renowned doctors, experts in their field, they will tell me, there's nothing wrong with you. Your blood work is perfect. My God, your vitamin D in such a country is perfect.
Yeah.
And I would say, but I feel far from perfect. Like there's nothing
wrong.
perfect
Yeah.
about how I'm feeling. Like, how could it be perfect? They're like, well, that's what the tests are saying. I was like, but the tests are wrong. How could they be wrong?
Yeah.
Because again, doctors are pragmatic. They want to see things that they can work with. And the conventional way of testing back then was very primitive. You know, the hormone tests were very basic. No one really looked into underlying reasons of why I was fatigued. No one talked to me about postpartum fatigue. Everyone was talking about postpartum depression, postpartum blues, postpartum anxiety, but no one was talking about postpartum depletion, postpartum fatigue, things that have to do with everything you eat on a daily basis. Nobody was talking to me about cures, about how I could help myself get out of bed. How could I heal myself, add more nourishment to myself? Nobody was talking to me about that. And the worst part is when you go to Dr. Google. At the time, there wasn't ChatGPT. There wasn't AI at my time then. It was Dr. Google.
Yeah. And Google always told you have cancer,
100%.
you're dying, you have a tumor.
Correct.
It was never actually honest,
Correct.
constructive feedback. So it always just gave you
Exactly.
another additional scale on top of, okay, maybe I am dying,
Correct.
Maybe this isn't normal and maybe I'm just going to pass away in the next 10 days.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It was scary.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that's why we shouldn't believe everything that we see on the internet.
Exactly. And
Even now.
oh my God, I dug myself deep and deeper into that rabbit hole of sort of what's wrong with me. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? That was my next obsession. Like, I need to snap out of it. Are they right? Are these doctors correct? Is it
So then
me?
when was the moment that you actually realized that you were right? And then how did you make that decision into the ripple effect of changing not only your life, but so many other women's lives around you? How did that happen?
I woke up one day, imagine someone in her early 30s, supposedly full of life. And I remember my daughter, who's 12 now, Tamara, she was about 2, told me, Mama, carry me up. She wanted me to, I couldn't. I couldn't. I had no strength. I had no energy. And all she wanted from me, she didn't want anything. She just wanted to bond. She wanted me to carry me. And I broke down in tears thinking, oh my God, I can't do the basic connection with my list. Like, I felt like this had to stop. And I stumbled upon a book by Dr. Sirala. It was called The Postpartum Cure.
Okay.
And, I never really connected my phase, my journey, postpartum, to be one of the reasons. Because all the doctors were dismissing it. They said, your hormones are fine, it has nothing to do with giving birth. So I just assumed that it's just a coincidence. It just happened that I've given birth and a few months later, this was going on with my body because my hormones and blood work was normal. But when I read how subtle and how not obvious these symptoms are and that they could not be detected and that how nutrition plays a huge part, I was like, if this book could change my perspective of how I view my body, then I really need to do the work. So I enrolled myself in Institute of Integrative Nutrition, specializing in gut microbiome. I did 3 years of nutrition. Later on, I specialized in 6 months of advanced courses to understand my gut microbiome because most of the symptoms were also in my gut.
Yeah.
And my liver, obviously, because they're very interconnected. And then I learned more about the gut-brain axis, that vagus nerves, and how we feel inside our gut affects our cognitive health and our thoughts and our anxiety, and how adrenal fatigue is a real thing. It's not really mainstream in the healthcare, but adrenal fatigue is a real thing. And then I learned how bone broth is the #1 cure for postpartum adrenal fatigue, which is the reason why many women after giving birth are completely fatigued, like myself. When we're talking about fatigue, is that you need help to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
You need help to wash your hair. you need help to just carry a 5-kilo baby. This is crazy. You're talking about severe basic fatigue. We're not talking about fatigue where I just left the gym and I'm exhausted. No. So I was angry because why did no one tell me? I spent all that time and energy and money over doctors who were supposed to guide me. And again, I'm not dismissing doctors because doctors save life.
Yeah.
And we appreciate them and they're there for a reason. And, you know, but at the time, things were so primitive. Their knowledge was so primitive and there was no connection to nutrition and how what we do every single day, these small changes, lifestyle fixes that we do on a consistent basis, daily basis, could change the way you feel long term. Nobody told me that. So every time I would read a case study, I would learn more from the journals of nutrition, I would go like, what? So I became the guinea pig.
Love that. You became the test subject in your own, yes, 100%.
My own world.
Yeah, exactly like
I was like, what am I going to lose?
Yeah.
I've already lost a lot. So I'm going to be the guinea pig. If they tell me I have to start my day with bone broth and then follow it by a caffeine, whether it's a matcha, it's a cup, whatever. But if I start my day right with bone broth, that would give me all the minerals, the amino acids, the protein, the cluster salt, the electrolytes. But most importantly, all the amino acids my body's missing postpartum, which is the L-glutamine, the proline, the arginine. Okay, let me do that. And then I started adding it and my digestion got better, which was one of the issues of why I wasn't absorbing enough nutrients because my hormones were out of whack that wasn't detecting through the spectrum. My gut started healing better. I started feeling better. And slowly, after months of just continuing that ritual, I started feeling more like myself again. Just simple habits. And then obviously I learned what really nourishes me at a cellular level, what drains me, what I need to really get rid of in my life. I started learning more about, you know, the endocrine system, your metabolic health, things that our ancestors in the past used to do. And we somehow thought, oh no, with the advancements, I don't need to do what my grandma did.
Old school.
Oh my God, like imagine. And I just went back to ancestral wisdom. Ancestral wisdom was the answer. The way our ancestors used to eat, all the fermentations, the slow living, you know, the mindful eating, all of these were rituals that our ancestors
And that's how
used to
the
enjoy.
Broth Lab was
And
created.
that's how the Broth Lab was created.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Of course. So the Broth Lab is just a post-COVID baby. We tested it out during COVID. And then after COVID, I've launched the Broth Lab because I felt that there wasn't a clean 15-hour simmered bone broth that's convenient and available within minutes in the UAE. But it came out of a personal journey because I saw the healing power of bone broth on myself when I was rock bottom. Like there isn't worse health status that I could ever be, but then, and it really helped replenish me. But I also seen it on my family, my friends, who, you know, they would call me up one day and say, my God, I've had, you know, influenza, or I've got like this pneumonia and I'm in the hospital and I couldn't eat. And I would send them a pot of bone broth. And then I was like, if I could sell this to people who really need it, rather than them buying chocolate or flowers every time they visit someone at the hospital, which doesn't add any value to your health if you think about it. The norm is you take some flowers, you take a box of chocolate every time someone is sick, but that's the last thing they need.
Yeah, it's not actually helping them in any way.
No, it's
bringing them comfort, but temporary comfort.
Not even, because if you think about it, the flowers are gonna die in a vase, and then it's their responsibility to clean it out. You know, put it out, or you know, just look after it. So you're just adding more chores for them looking after the bouquet. So I was thinking, there really need to be a shift of how we perceive health, but how we perceive us looking after our health for us and for others. So, you know, friends would call me and they would say, oh, you know, someone was diagnosed with cancer. I was like, hold on a second, I'm sending you something tomorrow. And I would send them a 15-hour overnight cooked bone broth. And they would say, what is this? This is amazing. My mom has cancer and couldn't put anything down. Suddenly she can have and sip on it. Tastes amazing, tastes good. And I was like, it's so healing. But I was like, why isn't it available? It doesn't make any sense. It's not available because health doesn't sell. That's the reality of things. Health doesn't sell. It's so easy to sell pizza or burger, something indulgent, chocolates. But it's so hard to sell something that is healing long term.
It's also a perfect concept for the UAE, like because everything is so readily available.
Correct.
15 minutes, you know, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, anything that you want, that you can think of in the world delivered straight to your door.
Exactly.
So the fact that like this wasn't really something that they integrated and you saw the gap in the market, genius, by
Yes.
the way. Absolutely.
Correct.
And the fact that it also has nutritional benefits to it, not just like a business.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur,
Correct.
that is outstanding that you did that. And on top of the broth lab, you also have Catcha Matcha. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
It's really good, by the way. I'm not just saying this because like
I'm sorry.
it's actually really nice.
It is an amazing
I'm really
product.
picky about my matcha.
Yes.
Like I'm very finicky about where I have matcha from, just due to the fact that like the flavor has to
Yes.
be palatable. I don't like it when it's like too grassy.
Correct. Of course.
It needs to be like tasty and
Yes.
enjoyable. Otherwise, like I'm not gonna like sip on it. So like I can say that it's really, really good, by the way.
Whoever has tasted matcha and said it tastes like a grass, didn't try Catcha Matcha
No.
or didn't try a proper Uji or from Kyoto region Japanese matcha,
Mhm.
like real matcha. So we source Catcha Matcha from volcanic soils
Mhm.
all the way up hill from Kyoto Uji.
Wow.
So the origin is so important, but also I wanted something mineral rich. I'm all about adding more nourishment. So the whole concept of the Broth Lab is about the ancestral way of living. Like, you know, the Asian countries like Japan, China, Korea, they all used to include matcha in their diet because it's an ancient ritual. But the reason really is because of the nourishment aspect. Just like we're including bone broth in our diet because of the way our ancestors used to cook all the meals in bone broth, you know, never in watered down stock, never in water, period, you know. It's just bringing back those ancient remedies in an easy, convenient manner. And the fact that we can take a spring harvest that took years to produce and have it conveniently in a cup and sip it right now is crazy.
Yeah.
Because we forget how long it takes for that harvest to reach us, the whole process from farm to cup. And the fact that, you know, bone broth, for example, takes 24 hours to be produced, and we forget that we're pouring it in a mug easy, but that convenience element comes because, my God, we can do it now, but also to pay respects to that ancestral ritual, whether it's matcha, whether it's bone broth, whether it's cooked, organic, hormone-free, antibiotic-free rotisserie that's cooked on a spit for 3 hours. All these things take time because they're quality, but because quality takes time.
Yeah.
And we really need to honor that. And I wanted to bring that way of living in a fast world where everything is on the go, everything is rushed, everything is convenience. I wanted to make also something that's so healthy and takes time to be produced and sourced in a fast manner because of convenience.
Yeah.
You know.
And I mean, on top of Catcha Matcha and the broth lab, you also have Roost Rotisserie,
Yes.
which is clean chicken.
Correct.
So obviously you saw that there was a problem there, or
Yes.
that there was a lack of. So how did that come up?
So my partner wanted all his life to open a restaurant. And partnering with me, being who I am, it's not going to be easy.
Yeah,
And
you're like, it's going to be healthy.
It's going to be healthy 100%. And there was really a need for a good rotisserie chicken, like a good one with the jus brined in olive oil and fresh herbs and orange zest, something that's brined honestly and marinated in a way where it's transparent and then cooked slowly the way chicken is supposed to be cooked. Nothing deep fried, nothing rushed, nothing on the go, like just good rotisserie roast. So there was a market and a need for that, and we tried to change the way people here in Dubai looked at chicken, because for the first time we were educating mothers particularly and families about the dangers of eating hormone and antibiotic-filled poultry. The majority of the issues we're seeing people with autoimmune, but specifically girls having their period early and boys getting their puberty, hitting their puberty early, is because of the hormones from their number one preferred choice of meat,
Really
which is
interesting.
chicken.
Yeah.
Because if you ask a child, what's your favorite thing to eat? They'll tell you nuggets or chicken, you know? And that's the issue. These chicken nuggets are filled with hormones and antibiotics, and it's accelerated. It's working at not just an inflammatory response, but it's accelerating something that's supposed to happen many years later, like puberty. So the education started then, more than a decade ago. And people were like, what do you mean I'm not supposed to eat chicken from Brazil? What do you mean I need to look at the labels when I buy my poultry? What do you mean your chicken is no antibiotics? They put antibiotics, and I was like, yep.
Yeah.
So that education part was the best part. So for 3 years of opening the Roost, from 2017 up until 2020, that's when we started educating people about how to read labels and to understand where their chicken is coming from and how their chickens were treated and whether their chickens are happy.
Mm-hmm. Really, we take in if they're happy into account?
Yes.
I did. Actually, this is really true because I remember I was really traumatized one day. I was shown a documentary about like the fast food chains, specifically like chicken, and how they treat the chickens when they are in like the slaughterhouse, and
Correct.
how they are like just like really
Sad.
like, yeah. And I remember that really stuck with me. It was really traumatizing.
Put you
to-
off.
Yes, and I couldn't
Yeah.
eat it because I felt so bad
Yeah.
for these chickens, because I understand like it's animals, but they have lives too. Like, shouldn't
Correct.
I understand that they have to die in order for us
Yes,
to like live,
but
I
how?
mean, yeah, there
And
should
why?
be a humane
Correct,
process
always.
in what it happens, right?
Correct.
I think that maybe it does have an effect also on the quality of the food.
And how you feel after you eat them.
I
for
think
sure.
that maybe to a lot of people it seems like, oh, mumbo jumbo, but then
No.
again, like there's actual proof that backs this up.
Yes.
But also, speaking of the fact that you have 3 companies,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
and Heal with
I'm a bit,
Hadil.
I'm a bit cuckoo like that.
No, it's incredible. I feel like women should have multiple
Yes,
businesses.
yes.
Then why shouldn't you be able to
Correct.
be a serial entrepreneur?
Agreed. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
You also have your one-on-one, nutrition-based coaching. Obviously, it's because you love to connect with people. You're the
Yes.
most bubbly person I've ever met, and I
Aw.
love that about you. She came bursting into the van just like a bull in a china
Yeah,
shop, and I was
that's
like,
me.
love this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
Across all things. I know. I would ask, how do you keep yourself from burning out and fatigue? But clearly, you've got that down. Clearly, you've nailed that aspect. But I mean, just maybe like the mental load. How do you like balance everything? Because I know running
Yeah.
a company, it's difficult.
Oh my God, tell me about it. I'll tell you something that I've learned the hard way. Prioritizing yourself
Mm-hmm.
is ultimately the only thing you should be concentrating on when running a business, because you're taking the back seat literally. You're like, your business is the front, your kids, your husband, your partner, your boyfriend, whoever it is always in the front line, because as women, we're givers. We were brought up to look after, and that's beautiful. But you can't pour from an empty cup.
I say this all the time. Mm-hmm.
If you don't fill your cup literally with good nourishment like bone broth or a good matcha, but literally you fill your cup with everything that is nourishing and healing for you on a daily basis, you're gonna resent your business. You're not gonna look at it from the same light. You're going to feel drained. You're not gonna give it your all. But also, it's gonna put a toll
Yeah.
on your relationships, whether it's with your children, whether it's you're with your partner. And why?
Yeah. It
Why?
should have to. Yeah.
Only because simply you decided not to look after yourself first.
Yeah.
But truly, looking after yourself is the foundation, and everything falls into place when you're at a better place.
I agree with that, because I mean, speaking like from the perspective of actually like founding a company and being the CEO, it's extremely difficult for me to like prioritize myself, because
Yes.
I'm always in like a state of mind like, I just need to get through this week. I just need to get through these meetings. I just need to like
Correct.
get through to these events. I need to just get through like this task delegation. Once I'm done with that, I can kind of like take a breather. But there's no like moment where it's like, okay, I'm done now, because as a when you're running a business, there's always more things added to your plate,
Always.
and you don't actually have like, okay, that moment where it's like, okay, now I can relax, class, I can
Correct.
have 5 minutes. It doesn't
No.
exist. So if you're like just postponing the finish line, you're never gonna get there, and then you in a state where you just burn out. And I've had that, like,
Yeah.
just literally being like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I just need like one day, and then that day never comes. So you're just constantly tired, and you're
Correct.
constantly like fatigued, when it shouldn't have to be that
No.
way. And I feel like as women, I mean, maybe you can also like attest to this, but we have to work twice as hard
Always.
in order to be like met with the level of respect, or like, for instance, the entire ecosystem concept of empowerment. I was always dismissed in a certain sense in the like the fundamental stages in the beginning, because it was like, oh, this concept was clearly founded by a man, because they couldn't wrap their heads around the fact that a woman, especially someone of my age,
That's BS.
could like actually come up with these blueprints and these structures. It didn't make any sense to them. So immediately they dismissed the fact that like I was capable of making these decisions and like coming up with this structure.
Yeah.
And because of that, I felt like I had to work twice as hard. I had to put in extra hours. I had to do so much more than what I would have to do just in order to be met with that level of respect. And at the end of the day, I wasn't pouring into my own cup because I was trying to pour into everyone else's around me. And I was burnt out. And that's why I agree so much with what you say, because now I've learned the lesson the hard way, and I encourage all women out there, pour into your cup first, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
100%.
How am I supposed to change your life if my life is like hanging on by a thread? So, I mean, I'm all for setting boundaries, protecting your peace, living in a bubble, only allowing access to what benefits you.
100%. Always.
Because for instance, if there's someone that's going to come to you and say like, oh, you can't do this, you won't amount to this, or what gives you the right, respectfully, I do. And if you don't see that, and if you don't share my values, then please just remain a social distancing space away from me.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you agree that, because I'm sure that in the process of you founding your companies, you were met with a certain level of dismissal as well. How did you navigate that?
Look, like you said, you reach a point where you just need to, you become wiser.
Yeah.
But you also life experience. You learn about how to navigate with your own way. But most importantly, I've realized that the less you respond, the better. Like I would always have to defend myself or prove myself or showcase what I'm capable of doing constantly. It was exhausting. But then I realized I don't need to. I know my vision and I know where I'm at. And the less you have to respond, the better.
Yeah.
And it just gives you peace of mind. Truly, the peace of mind comes from you knowing that you don't have to react.
Yeah.
Period.
You just say, okay.
Yeah.
Someone tells you.
I mean, if that's their mindset and that's their perspective of life or how women are supposed to be or achieve or be at, then I feel bad for them.
I agree, because
I don't need to respond.
I love this because a lot of the times, like, there are women like you and I that will like fight tooth and nail.
Of course,
to, like,
I understand. Yeah.
But then when you met with it so much, it just becomes like,
it's draining.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Correct.
Yeah.
If you think so, good for you, fine.
I've had people come to me and say, oh, your business is never going to work, it's going to fail, you know, all these things. And at first it really used to affect me, it really bugged me. And then it just reached a level where I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then instead of like taking it personally, I would just be like, oh, I know what I'm doing is successful. I know what I'm doing is making a difference. I know that I've got it figured out. Because you don't see the vision, you weren't given the calling. I understand that. And I'm going to waste my time arguing with a brick wall by like trying to justify everything to you, because you will never see the side of it that I see.
And that's why they're there and you're there.
Exactly. And I love that, because I feel like all women should just believe in themselves. Like they should just be their biggest fan, their biggest cheerleader, their biggest support system. Because just like you said, if you aren't there for you, how do you expect someone else to show up for you? Because you don't even believe in yourself.
Exactly.
So you should, I mean, I say this all the time, you should just be delusional.
Yes, 100%.
I love that.
Go crazy.
Yeah, I love the Gen Z slang, be delulu, right?
Yeah.
The delulu is the salulu. Like
Correct.
I love being delusional, because if you're delusional, it's not a sense of like being crazy or like having like a nonsense of reality, but it's more just the faith that anything is possible.
Correct.
I can reach any place that I want to. Like the sky is the limit. There's no ceiling. There's no cap on my potential.
Yes.
Because who actually gets to dictate your future aside from you?
I love that. I was on a Forbes panel and I was asked, how does it feel, Hadil, to be recognized as a company that's going global from the UAE? And I looked at the moderator and I said, why can't I think big? Why do I have to feel good about everyone else's vision? Everyone starts a business wanting to grow it. Whether it's beyond borders or whether it is at a scale that they monetize over, but whatever the case is, why can't I think big? And he was like, I didn't mean that, but I'm sure it feels good. I was like, it does feel good. But for the longest time, I was asked not to think big,
Yeah.
to stay,
Stay small.
sensible,
Stay controlled.
reasonable. Come on.
Yeah.
It's a homegrown concept after all.
Yeah.
How big can it grow?
Mm-hmm.
But I allowed myself to be delusional. I allowed myself to go crazy, to think big. And that's what people will always fight you against, because they're worried about you and because they care. And I get it. But allow yourself to be a bit cuckoo.
Yeah.
It's only then when you start manifesting things at a bigger scale that you really get there.
Yeah. I also love the concept of like when basically people are putting you down, or people are saying that, oh, you don't need to go global. Oh, you don't need to
Yes.
expand. You don't need to do this. And I think they say this purely at the fact that like, let me catch up.
Yeah.
Let me also make it to that
Correct.
level. Like if you slow down, I can meet you
Yeah.
there. And it's done in a malicious intent in a way, very sly and very like under the cover malicious intent, but it's almost done with like, if she can do it slower, I can catch up. So it's not to say that you don't have the potential or that you don't have the capability, but it's more the sense of like, I'll allow you to do that once I can also
Yes.
get to that level.
Sad,
And I
right?
hate that.
But you know what? When you win,
Mm-hmm.
as a Dubai-based concept, I win.
Yeah.
People don't see it this way. Your win is my win, because then it gives opportunities, but it also shows that we could grow from where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
But not a lot of people, like you said, can see it that way.
No.
They want their pace,
Yeah.
so that they can keep up, but also they see that if she made it and I haven't, it shows that I'm behind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the case. There's
You-
always, it's not a race.
Yeah.
It's not a
Everyone is in
race.
their
Yes.
own lane. Like just watch out for yours. Before we get carried away,
Correct.
I should actually go back to this.
Okay.
I want to do lightning round with you. Okay. Quick questions.
Mhm.
Tell me the first answer that comes to mind.
Yes.
Right? Broth, matcha, rotisserie chicken, desert island pick.
Oh my goodness. Broth all the way.
Really?
Yes.
How would you sustain yourself nutritionally? Like in terms of like actual food? Really? That's
Bone
enough?
broth is a complete meal. It's so high in protein, 32 different amino acids, electrolytes, cluster salts. You don't have to drink water
That's so
if you
interesting.
didn't have access to water. Well,
Yeah,
water
yeah,
is life.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is how much nutrient density is high in bone broth.
That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Okay, number 2. Corporate boardroom or commercial kitchen?
Pass on the apron 100% over any attire. Give me that apron. I'm ready.
Love that. Love that. One food that you'll never allow back in your kitchen.
Oh my God, anything out of packets.
Mhm.
I'm never allowing anything out of packets. Homemade from scratch is the way to go, because you know what goes into it. Anything coming out of packet, and don't tell me it's organic and seed oil free and all that. I get it. But anything that comes out of a packet, if it's made from more than 4 or 5 ingredients,
Yeah.
it's not coming in my kitchen.
You know which packet really bugs me? Rice. Like the microwave rice, like the packet.
The
It
worst.
takes like what, 5
Correct.
minutes? Like you really just put it on a pot and like
Sad how much convenience.
I
have
really
been
that
lost.
one really annoys me. Like everything else, I'm like, okay, I understand. But that one
Yes.
really bothers me, to be honest
Correct.
with. Okay. Abu Dhabi or Dubai?
Oh, this is a hard one. Do I have to answer this?
Yes, but non-politically, just out of the sense of convenience, what feels like home vibes.
Abu Dhabi is home, because obviously my childhood, my upbringing, I've seen the transition,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gives me a sense of zen,
Mhm.
and that I'm always going home. When I'm in Abu Dhabi, I'm a totally different person.
Yeah.
I'm more grounded for sure. But also all my childhood memories and my childhood friends, my best friends live there. But then Dubai is the future. It's my, extended family. It's everything that I want to become. So think of it as Abu Dhabi is my past,
Yeah.
which you should never forget
Mhm.
or ignore.
Your roots.
My roots, exactly. And then Dubai is the future.
I love that. That's really beautiful. Okay. Morning ritual that you refuse to skip. I already know this one based off our conversation,
Yes.
to be honest. It's bone broth, isn't it?
You know what? I struggle when I travel, because I can't make it from scratch,
Mhm.
and I also can't source it from clean places. So I'm
Mhm.
always looking for other butcheries that could make it from it and give them a premium, but it's never the same. I really struggle, and I miss the broth lab when
So
I'm
that's
traveling.
like you cannot compromise. That's how you start your day.
No way.
Makes sense. So you have it like
9
first
years.
thing that you wake up in the morning, that's what you take?
Correct. So no, I hydrate myself first, like a
Mhm.
squeeze of lemon water into like hot water, and I wait for it to cool, and then I sip it. And then I wait for a few minutes. You know, you could just do your routine, get ready, blah, 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 and then you start your bone broth. But bone broth is how I break my fast every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And I've made it a ritual because I don't invest in minerals and vitamins from pharmaceuticals that are not bioavailable, that my body doesn't recognize. But also, why not start your day with all this goodness? Because no matter what you do the rest of the day,
You're gonna feel
you've
good.
got that done.
Yeah.
You're hydrated, you're well nourished. Whatever I do later, whether I decide to eat a complex, good, high, protein, high fiber breakfast or not, at least I got this ready.
Yeah.
My body's ready, my gut is sealed. I've done what I can.
Yeah, makes total sense. I'm gonna ask you one more that's not on here just because I want to know.
Yes.
Morning person or night owl?
You know what? I fluctuate, to be honest. Running a business, sometimes you need that peace, especially as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
When mama all day.
Sleep.
And yes, and you
Please.
like sleep so that I can have my 3 hours of just peace.
Yeah.
And that sometimes 3 hours goes to 4 hours if you've got deadlines or if you have work to do. So I really fluctuate. But I also love waking up in the morning,
Mhm.
having my bone broth, my ritual,
Yeah.
being amongst my family and just being able to see sunlight. I cannot deal with gloomy weathers. I
Yeah.
love the sun. I'm a desert girl after all.
Perfect place for you.
Yeah,
then, to be in the UAE. Honestly.
I'm a desert girl, but I do fluctuate. There are times when I can't sleep before 1 or 2 because
Yeah.
I have to get things done and I want to get over.
Mhm.
And you know how it is sometimes, the sense of urgency with
Yeah.
entrepreneurship. You just got to finish it.
Yeah.
And there are days when, no, I want to wake up early and I just want to, see the sun.
That's true. I mean, maybe it was because I could sense that I was going to meet you today.
Yes.
But I was in the office before my entire team.
Yeah.
And when they walked in, they were like,
What's wrong with you? Why are you here?
they couldn't understand because I'm not a morning person at all. Like if I
Yes.
walk in, I'm like,
Yeah.
morning, right?
Yes.
And I just don't want to talk to anyone. Like after like an hour, after I have a cup of coffee, then I'm like, I'm good to go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like smiles, giggles for the day. But this morning, I just was up in the office probably like 7:30.
Yes.
And I was just sitting there on my laptop, like doing my work, getting ready for the day. And then my assistant walked in and she was like, what are you doing here? And she was like, what happened?
We're the same.
Yeah, she was like, I saw the office door open. I was like, I'm just having a really good morning. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. So maybe it's because I could sense that I was going to meet
Aw, that's so sweet.
you. Okay, fill in the blank. It chose me means?
Wow. Entrepreneurship chose me. I never chose it. I run the businesses not by choice, by survival, but I felt like that was my destiny eventually.
I love that. Okay, last one.
Mm.
If this is the only podcast that a woman listens to for the entire year, what would you want her to take away from this conversation?
Invest in your health. Health is the true wealth. Hear it from someone who didn't have that option. I swear I would give up everything to just feel normal again. Once health is gone, nothing matters. Not how much money you've got in the bank, if you have fulfillment from your job, if you've really built the family you wanted, that house you got, that car, nothing. Health is the ultimate wealth. And don't wait for it to be the priority because you have to. Invest in your everyday, daily choices consciously before it's too late.
That's really incredible. Thank you so much for joining us in the carpool today. Honestly,
Thank
it's
you.
been such a pleasure
This
talking
was so
to you.
much fun.
You're always welcome.
Thank you.
Always welcome. But honestly, thank you for your transparency and for showing women that it's okay not to be okay and to speak up with the fact that you're not okay.
Yes.
And to take actual action in your life and to show them that I can choose me and that's okay.
Thank you for everything that you're doing with your platform, with your voice, with everything you're doing to just empower others. This ripple effect is going to go so far. You have no idea.
Thank you.
So proud of you.
Thank you. This has been Carpool with Kirsten, brought to you by Fempowerment. If you'd like to connect with Hadil, her information will be listed below. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss who's next in my passenger seat. And until then, remember, when they tell you it's all in your head, that might be the beginning of your purpose, not the end of your story. See you next time. Okay, boys, let's roll out.